Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Main Street Moments podcast. This is Kathy.
And Brian.
And today we are going to talk about Disney ticket prices. I just put a new article on our Facebook page group, and it was all about the history of ticket prices and what a ticket would cost in 1971 when Disney World opened. You were born that year. I was a year old.
Yeah.
But first, we'd like to thank all of our new listeners and people that have been listening to the podcast and subscribing to our YouTube channel. We truly, truly appreciate it. You can listen to the podcast on YouTube and also on iTunes. So
and on YouTube, you can also see all of our vlogs at the park.
Right.
I'm going up next weekend.
Yeah, you were going to go this weekend, but it's raining really bad here, and we have a lot of stuff to do around the house. Life does happen.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to go up during the rain. I know a lot of people don't mind going to the parks in the rain.
But the drive is tough.
Yeah, I didn't want to drive 2.5 hours each way in the rain.
No, because then your 2.5 really turns into 4 hours.
Yeah, it could if it rains hard.
So, who wants to spend 8 hours in the car? It's better to drive. When we go to Disney for the day, we really have to do it in optimal conditions, meaning no rain and not a lot of traffic. And then we can get there in 2.5, 3 hours. Because there have been times when we've hit a lot of traffic and bad weather, and it's like a 4-hour drive.
But it's only
way.
2.5 hours.
Really?
One way, good weather.
We have to really, weather plays a part.
So you're talking about this article, and just for full disclosure, we're season pass holders. So, which are not, those are not inexpensive, but being an annual pass holder, I shouldn't say, I said season pass holder, annual pass holder.
Saying season, it's annual.
We're annual pass holders. So being an annual pass holder allows us to go to the parks all the time. But every time I go into any of the parks, because we're annual pass holders, I just swipe in my magic band, boom, I'm in.
You don't even think about it.
But I still do always look at the prices at the gate when I'm going in.
You do.
And it blows my mind because I can remember paying $12, $12.50, $18 to get into
we're gonna go over
the Magic Kingdom. So I was very curious as you go through this article, when did Walt Disney World in Orlando become so expensive and really unaffordable for a lot of people?
Well, so the thing is with tickets, you have to realize too, okay? A Disney ticket is about $120 a day.
Mm-hmm.
But if you buy for multiple days, the price does go down. And right now in the summer, they are offering people tickets as low as $55 a day if you buy like 4 days at a time. So they do offer those kinds of deals periodically. So you can't always say, well, it's $120 per day, because if you go for 5 days, if most people go for a week at a time or 2 weeks, they do get the more you buy in bulk or whatever, the price does go down, but it is still very expensive, obviously, especially if there's like a group of people or a family.
But still the prices are pretty high.
It is. So this article just came out actually yesterday. You have to be careful when you read articles online. You really have to check the date, because sometimes old articles will pop up in your feed or somewhere and you'll read it and be like, oh, wow. And then it's like, oh, this is 5 years old. So this actually came out yesterday. And it said a Disney World ticket was $350 in 1971.
Mm-hmm.
So they worked that out with inflation would be $21 today. $21.
Adjusted for inflation. Now,
Adjusted
keep in
for
mind.
Inflation, $21.
Okay, so let's just say,
$3.50.
In today's dollars, $21.50. There was no Space Mountain. There was no Splash Mountain. There was no Thunder Mountain either. Okay,
that's right. There were no mountain rides.
It was
Disney was just starting,
and there was only one park.
That's right.
Yeah,
and there were 2 hotels.
Yeah,
the Contemporary and the Polynesian.
That's right. So there wasn't really much to do in 1971.
Right. So we have a breakdown here, and I'll go through it really quick because it's really interesting. Now, back then, in 1981-82, they changed the ticket system. So from 1971 to 1981, the system was you paid a flat fee, like $350 on the first year, to get into the park. That did not get you on any rides.
No.
It got you in the park. See, I would prefer that system now because I don't ride half the rides. But, the way it was is you bought a ticket to go in.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you bought a ticket booklet. And you could choose your booklet. The e-tickets were the best rides, okay?
Yeah, they still call them e-ticket rides, like Space Mountain.
A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah.
The A-ticket rides were like I don't even know what an A ticket ride would be. A ride
The
that,
merry-go-round, the
yeah,
carousel.
maybe
Yeah,
that would be a
things like
B
that.
or an A. An E ticket ride would be Peter Pan, Space Mountain, Mine Train would be an E ticket ride.
I
Okay, right
remember
now.
when you actually bought the tickets, and the way you bought it is like at a fair or a carnival
Right.
today. I remember that. I was really little, but the only ticket booth I remember going up to and getting tickets, because, I was a little kid then, so my parents bought the tickets, but I was there. I remember there was a ticket booth right next to the entrance of the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse.
That's
And
right.
I know it's hard for people to imagine, but you would wait in line to buy these
Yes,
tickets
that's
and then
right.
go. So,
And you could buy tickets throughout the
yeah,
day. If you were there and you're
of
like,
course,
well,
yeah, the
I
ticket
want to
booths.
go on Space Mountain again. Like you said, they would have ticket booths in the park and you could buy more tickets. So you would take your ticket and you get a booklet and you would get more A tickets and B tickets than the C, D's, and E's. Okay. And then you would turn in your ticket on the ride and
Yeah.
that would
Yeah,
be
like a
it.
fair. I kind of
Right.
like it I like it the way it is now. I wouldn't want to have
Yeah,
to
I guess you're
buy
right. I just
individual
don't ride a
tickets.
lot of rides. So
Yeah.
anyway, I think they should offer what I mean. I guess I should change what I'm saying. I think they should offer a special ticket for people who don't go on any of the rides and just want to get into the park at a cheaper price. So say it's 110 to get in for the day. Maybe they could have a special ticket for $55 for the day and you get a special thing on your Magic Band or whatever.
Yeah.
And you don't ride any of the rides, but you get into the park to
yeah.
eat and see the park
Yeah.
because not everybody can go on the rides.
Now,
Not
does
everybody
this
does go on the
does
rides.
this article go through the price increases over the years?
Yes, it
Okay,
does.
so in 71 it was
$3.50.
which is equivalent to $21.50 in
It
today's
tells you the
dollars.
cost for inflation. And that was, again, only to get into the park. Okay, so as we said, 1971 was $3.50. 72 went to $3.75. And then we'll go through. Then they raised it every year.
Oh, of course.
Okay. 75, it was $6. And that would be $27.99 today. 1977, when Star Wars came out, it was $6
Yeah.
still. So it was $6 for 2 or 3 years.
Now $6 is $26.27 in today's dollars.
Right. So every year they would raise it. Okay.
So when did it get to these
Okay, I'll tell you.
crazy prices?
We'll get to that. So back in the 70s, okay, they would raise it every year like 50 cents. That was their big price hike.
Yeah.
Now it's like $300
Yeah.
for annual passes. We're going to
Yeah.
do $250 more. And now
Yeah.
they'll raise it another 25 or when they have a price hike at Disney, it's significant. Back then it was pennies, literally 50 cents, 25 cents. So then in 1982, like I said, EPCOT opened and they changed the system to where you, instead of just paying one price and then buying a separate ticket booklet, you paid one flat price and you got on everything. And that's the system we have today. Then it had a pretty big jump. It went from $9.50 to get into $15.
That's for Magic
Per ticket.
Kingdom.
Yeah, that was for every park. EPCOT and Magic Kingdom
Yeah.
were the only two parks.
Mhm.
So, and then they had special deals if you went to two parks. That's when they introduced the park hopper option because you had two parks now.
Now,
So they would offer the park hopper
See, now
option.
this is interesting because in 1982 it was $15
Right.
to get into EPCOT or Magic Kingdom
Right.
the first year
And they
EPCOT opened.
introduced a park hopper. And that's when they introduced annual passes, by the way.
Yeah.
In 1982.
And adjusted for inflation in 1982, $39.25. You know,
so that's
these
a pretty big jump
these
because before it
prices-
was like adjusted $26.
these prices, okay, $39.25 adjusted for today's dollars. To me, that is very reasonable. And, if the price point was closer to that to get into the parks, I would spend a lot more money in the parks.
Yes.
Because I would imagine a lot of you out there listening, if it was a little better of a deal to get into the parks, would you eat in nicer restaurants? Would you buy more merch? I know I would.
Okay, so let's jump ahead to 1990. Okay, I was 20.
Yeah.
I was just starting college because I started college a little late, and you were 19, and it was $31 a ticket. So cost adjusted for 2019 inflation, $62.
That's adjusted for inflation.
Right, in 1990.
Okay, now I'll tell you about these prices, and we're not able to get these figures. During this time, we live in Florida. There were always Florida resident discounts. And I know for a fact
Mhm.
those are not the Florida resident discounts because I can remember going in
Yeah, these are probably for out of state.
89, 90, and 91. I can remember going to the parks in those years in 1990, and as a Florida resident, getting in for $18.
Yeah, no,
And
Florida
sometime,
residents
yeah,
would get deals.
so we always got deals. So we never, as Florida residents, have paid these prices. This is the price for non-Florida residents.
Okay, so let's jump ahead to the year our daughter was born. Well, let's do this. Let's do the year we were married because we went to Disney on our honeymoon.
Yeah.
So the year we were married was 1996, and it was $38.50 to get in for the day. $40, a little under $40. So
Yeah,
two people could get in for under $100.
I can remember this because when we went to Walt Disney World for our honeymoon, it was in December, and we went for Mickey's Christmas.
Yeah, and it was the birthday year, the 25th anniversary. They had the castle decorated as a birthday
Yeah,
cake.
that was awful.
Yeah, nobody
That was
liked
awful. That
It
was
was weird.
terrible.
It was
That
weird.
was terrible. The birthday cake castle.
I don't think they'll do that for the 50th.
And I remember that trip in particular because we went to, I don't remember how much Mickey's Halloween was, but it was much less than $100. I do remember that per person.
Did we go to Mickey's Christmas party? on
Yeah,
our
we went to
honeymoon?
Mickey's Christmas party.
My
and,
memory's fuzzy.
And we bought multi-day park hoppers. And I don't remember the exact price,
Mhm.
but I remember we bought the park hoppers, and it was I think we bought like 3-day park hoppers, and it was just over $100 a ticket, like 105 or something like this. And this was park hoppers every day, non-park hoppers.
And this
for
was
3 days.
They had 3 parks by this time.
Yeah.
No Animal Kingdom,
Yeah,
right?
it was just like $80-something. I mean, it was crazy, the prices back then. So but we still aren't. And now, what is that in today's dollars now? In 96,
63, 66.
So that's still 60. So I rounded up to $64. So $64 in today's dollars, compared to when you see it over $100 today.
But again,
that's crazy.
the price increase from the previous year was $1.50. Okay. So back then they would increase it $1 now, $1.25. So the next year they went up $1.25. Then they went up to $2.25.
Let's go up to 2001.
Okay. Well, let's go to the year our daughter was born, 1999.
Okay.
So the year we got married, the price was $38.50, and then by the time our daughter was born, 3 years later, it was $44. So it went up a few bucks, under $6. And then you want to jump to which
2001.
year? Okay.
2001. So in 2001, $48 a day, adjusted for inflation, $70.22. And I remember in 2001,
soon the price here is going to match the adjusted
Yeah,
inflation.
that's what I'm saying. When does it?
Go.
Well, yeah, I'm looking for when
there was a big
the adjusted for inflation price matches anything where we are today. Now I remember in 2001, we went up to Walt Disney World a week after 9/11.
Was it a week after?
It was the
or
week.
a couple weeks?
No, it was a week after 9/11, and this is the only time I believe we've stayed at the Contemporary
as a married couple.
Yeah, and you stayed at the Contemporary before we were married? I never stayed there
With my family.
Okay,
I stayed at the
didn't-
Polynesian. I stayed
okay.
at the Contemporary.
Who you
What
staying
can
at
I-
hotels?
What can I say?
Who you stayed at hotels with?
Yeah, no, I've stayed almost everywhere.
And I remember after 9/11, of course, this was the week after 9/11, and of course, people were not traveling.
No.
And we got really discounted rates at the Contemporary,
and that's an incredible deal.
That's the reason it was the only time we've stayed at Contemporary, because it was really the only time that was in our price range.
Yeah.
Was
Well,
that-
we were newly married,
But we're
so,
still not okay.
you know.
So adjusted for inflation in 2001, we're at $70.22, but it was
$48
$48 a ticket.
So in the beginning, in the 70s, they would jump every year a quarter, 50 cents. Now they're doing $2 jumps
But
a year, okay? So now they're getting bolder with their ticket jumps.
In 2001, as Florida residents, it was 48. We were paying about $35 a
Maybe.
ticket. As
Well, you
Florida
don't know
residents.
for sure.
No, I remember clearly.
Okay.
I remember, yeah.
So now we're doing, like I said, so in the beginning, in the 70s, here's a big jump here. From 04 to 05, they had a $5 ticket
To
increase
$59.75,
from the year.
which
So
is
that's the biggest jump so far as we're going through the history.
now. This is when it starts to get pricey because in 2005, $59.75 a ticket, adjusted for inflation, that's $80.25. So now you're getting into some money.
Now the next year, they increased it over $7. See, now you're getting bigger increases.
in
Starting
06.
in 2005,
Yeah.
you start to get to bigger jumps per year. Before it was $2, $1.50. Now it's $5, $7, and
Well-
then $4 every year for a while. $3.
Yeah.
So we're getting
So,
closer
okay,
to.
now I think when we get kind of closer to where we are today, as crazy as this sounds, it's not that long ago. When you get to 2013, it was $95 a day, adjusted for inflation, that's $104 a day. So that's kind of
That
when
gap
we,
is getting smaller.
yeah, that's kind of when you get to like the $100 a day and above ticket
Well,
price.
what I'm seeing here is they've increased it every year. They increase the prices
Oh, of
every
course,
year.
yeah,
Now,
everything goes up
there's
every
not
year.
a year. Well, there's not a year where they don't increase it at something.
Yeah, and then we broke 100 in 2015, where it was 105 a ticket per day,
Yeah.
adjusted for inflation, $114.58, and then it's gone up now to where it's $119 or more a day
Well, it says
when you
here
go in.
for 2019, 125. That's the average.
Well, now they have that new pricing where it's different prices on different days, trying to push people to go on certain days, and I don't know how effective that is. But I got to tell you, I was watching a vlogger at Disney from Disneyland, and he was telling me about a story that was really kind of a very sad story. He was in Galaxy's Edge at the workshop getting the lightsaber done, and he said that he sees families coming in and they'll have
Yeah.
2 or 3 kids, and they got to like pick which kid gets to make the lightsaber because it's so expensive. And I've heard a lot of people talking about, our daughter's 20 years old and we've only had one child. So, people that have more than one child,
Oh, sure. It's tough.
it is pricey
Well,
and
this
it's
is what my
tough.
advice would be. Unless you have money to burn, and
Yeah, unless you're wealthy.
unless money's no object, I would tell your kids before you go in, because personally, I don't think it's fair to let one kid have that experience and not let
No,
another kid
I
have an
wouldn't do it.
equal experience or the same.
Yeah.
That's not right, because then it looks like you're playing favorites. So I would tell my kids, we're going to go to Galaxy's Edge, but nobody is doing the lightsaber thing or the droid thing because it's too expensive. And if we do 3 people, it's $600 and it's not going to happen.
Well, a tip
Because kids,
for
you
people,
can tell them to share it, but kids don't want to
yeah.
share. Come on.
Well, a tip for people when you're going to Walt Disney World, certainly this is great if you have kids, but it's great even if you don't have kids. This is a great tip. Now, we have not been able to do this. This is a good tip. I've tried to do this. It never seems to work out that way for us. But if you've got kids, and especially multiple kids, this is a great tip because of these high prices today, is most people aren't like us where, okay, I'm going to go to Disney World tomorrow. Most people plan it out weeks, months,
Oh, months,
and maybe
sometimes
a year or more in
years.
advance. If you buy over time Walt Disney World gift cards,
Yeah,
just
it's a good idea.
$10 or $25, like, they sell them at our grocery store. I don't know if they sell them at your grocery stores if you're outside of Florida, but if you buy a $10, $20, $25 gift card every time you go to the store, by the time you go to the park, you've got these gift cards, and it's almost like found money because you've been buying them up over months or maybe a year. And if you have kids, you can give the kids, okay, this is your budget for today, these gift cards.
Or if you have a trip coming up like a year from now, give them Disney gift cards for their birthday and Christmas. Okay. Instead of buying them a bunch of toys they don't need, give them $100 Disney gift card and tell them, hold on to that, because when we go to Disney, you can use it to build your droid at Galaxy's Edge. Things like that.
Yeah.
If you think
the
ahead.
gift cards are a great idea.
Because you're not going to really spend them anywhere else. I mean, unless you go to the Disney store or go online. But most people will hold on to them and be like, all right, we're saving these for our trip. So that's a good way to budget your kids. You give them a gift card. But if that is not in your budget to do like an experience, okay, then choose a different experience. So if you say, okay, look, we can't afford everybody to get a lightsaber or even a droid. But what we can afford is, I don't know, what's something a big family could afford that would be cheaper. Even if you go to a dessert party, it's $100 a person. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's pricey.
It is pricey.
It's pricey.
These experiences are expensive. And I think you're right. I think if the tickets were cheaper, I think people would be more likely to spend more money in the parks.
Yeah.
I know there's times, even though we have the annual passes, so we pay like a monthly fee for our tickets, which you can do if you're a Florida resident. It's not that much a month. It's under $150. So it's not that bad. I'm not paying a huge chunk of like $1,500 or $2,000, at one time. So I don't really think about it too much. So when we go to the parks, we can buy stuff, but I don't really buy too much merchandise anyway. But I think if people spent less on tickets and they were on vacation, they probably would spend a little
Well,
more on stuff.
I'll tell you one tip I've learned
Yeah.
with food. Now, this is different for everyone, and I didn't find this out on my own. I was watching Disney in Detail, which is a vlogger from the UK.
Yeah, Victoria.
Yeah,
She's great. Follow her. She's great.
Disney in Detail. She comes to Florida all the time, every couple of
Like
months.
2 or 3 times a year.
And
at
on
least.
Disney in Detail, she had a great tip, and this never occurred to me. Now, this is different for everyone because I'm not a big eater, especially when I'm at the parks. But
No, we're not big eaters.
But this is something I have, since I heard Victoria on Disney in Detail suggest this, I have done this pretty much every time I go to eat at a quick service, and I order the child size
Yeah.
meal.
The kids' meal.
And it never even occurred to me before. And the kids' meal is usually enough. I don't like to eat a lot at the quick serve places because if I eat a lot, I'm like tired and I want to be able to ride rides and do things in the park. So I'm not a big
Plus,
eater.
you eat snacks throughout the day, and you
Yeah.
don't need to sit down and have a huge meal now.
That saves you a lot of money because depending on where you're at, sometimes it can be almost half of what the regular. And I think it's plenty of food.
It is, and you can do that at the resort. We have a vlog if you want to see it. It's our Coronado Springs vlog. It's actually our one vlog that's hit over 5,000 views, which is amazing. And we do a whole review of the Coronado Springs. And at the end, we go and we'll watch the whole video. Don't go to the end. But at the end, you'll see us go to the food court, and Brian and I order the kids' meal. We get kids' burgers. They were almost half the price. The adult burger was $14 with fries and a drink,
Yeah.
and the kids' meal was $8.
Yeah.
So that saved us $12 right there. Plus, we got they give you a cookie, and
And
you
they
get
gave
fries.
us a soda. It wasn't a huge soda. Again, we're not big eaters.
And it was plenty.
It was plenty of food for us.
It was
Yeah.
plenty of food, and it was if you do that throughout your trip, you will save a lot of money. Or you can get an adult meal and split it. That's a lot
Yeah.
of food. You can cut it in half. You can't do that at the buffets because when you go to a buffet, you pay the adult price.
Yeah.
Same if you go to like Artist Point or a restaurant that has like a set menu. But I think there are some sit down places
At
like
quick
at the
serve,
resort-
you
quick
can do it.
service, yeah, and maybe some restaurants you can order. Don't feel you have to eat tons of food every time you sit down for a meal. There are ways to cut corners like that.
Yeah.
Because the ticket prices are more expensive than they were. I just can't believe in 1971 it was $3.50 to get in. So a family of 4 could go in for, what is that? $14. Okay, so I looked it up now. What that would do is that would get you in the park, and then they had a junior ticket, which was 12 to 17 years old. That was $2.50.
Yeah.
And a child 3 to 11 was $1. So even back then, kids under 3 years old were free.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're thinking about taking your kid, take them. We took Emily 2 months before she turned 3, and everything was free for her. So it was amazing. So then what you did is you bought an adventure book.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
An
right.
adventure book was $4.50 for adults. So on top of your $3.50, you had $4.50 to pay.
It was more than
so
the actual
still under
park entry.
$10,
Yeah.
right? And with that, you got 1 A ticket, a B ticket, 2 C tickets, 2 D tickets, and 2 E tickets.
Okay. Now, e-tickets are like Space Mountain.
Right.
But
So
what was
that's not very much.
But when the park first
The A
opened,
ticket I read was the omnibus, things
now
like that.
when the park first opened, no Space Mountain, no Splash Mountain,
Right.
okay, no Thunder Mountain. So what was an e-ticket in 1971? Because they had the mansion. I'm guessing the mansion was an e-ticket.
Yes, the mansion.
Okay.
Let's see.
That had to be an e-ticket.
1971. I'm Googling this right now. Okay. So an e-ticket for 1971 at Disney World
Mhm.
would be, it's a small world,
Wow.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Oh, yeah, I missed that ride so much.
The Mickey Mouse Review. I'm sure I saw that.
Yeah.
Jungle Cruise.
Mm-hmm.
Tropical Serenade. I have no clue what that is. And the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
Those
yeah.
were the
I
e-tickets
really
back
missed
then.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. When they closed that down, I was very sad.
But then, okay, so here's the C ticket. C ticket. The Grand Prix Raceway. That's what they called this Tomorrowland
Uh-huh.
Speedway.
That's right.
Dumbo, Peter Pan. Oh, see, I thought Peter Pan would be an E. Peter Pan, Snow White, Mr. Toad, and the Mad Tea Party were all C tickets. So all the Fantasyland rides except Small World
Mhm.
were C tickets. And then the Explorer Canoes. This must be at Disneyland because they don't have canoes.
Yeah, that was
Oh, no, it said
Disneyland.
Magic Kingdom.
Oh, they must have had canoes going out to Tom Sawyer's Island back then.
Oh.
And they
well, what do
stopped
they
doing
do
it.
now? You said they have
You take a
thing?
raft. You
See,
take
I've
like a
never done
raft that you stand on, not a canoe. Well, I like the way the ticket prices are now, but still, I know it's a little tough for people.
Well, they increase the prices every year. And I was thinking about this. When you go to Disney now, there's obviously a lot more there than there used to be. Okay.
Hmm.
They have a parade, they have fireworks every night, they put on a show, and they have Tinkerbell now flying across the sky. So they look at it like this. Okay. If somebody goes to a concert, like you took Emily to see Justin Bieber 3 or 4 years
Oh
ago, I
yeah.
got you guys tickets for Christmas, 2 tickets, and they were not that great of seats. They were kind of in the middle of the arena, okay, like
Hmm.
mid-level. 2 tickets were almost $500. This
Yeah.
was 3 years ago,
Yeah.
okay, for a 3-hour
Yeah.
event.
Yeah.
So Disney looks at it this way: look, people are getting in the park, they're going to be here all day. They get to go on rides, they get a show, they get fireworks, they get a parade. They get a lot more than they would get if they went to a 3-hour concert. So there's nothing wrong with asking $150,
120.
and if you or 120. So if you
Yeah.
look at it that way, that's true. You get, a concert is 3 hours. Concert tickets cost more than getting into Disney World. And
Well,
I'd rather go to
yeah,
Disney World for the day than go
it
see Justin Bieber. So the Food and Wine Festival is coming up soon. In fact, this is weird to me. It opens the same weekend as Galaxy's Edge.
yeah.
You're going up for the weekend, so you're going to hit both events and vlog them. It's going to be crazy. But they released the new pass holder magnets, which I really
Yeah.
like to collect. We've got like 10 of them on our fridge. Every time there's an event, we collect the pass holder tickets. So this year they have Minnie Mouse, like a chef Minnie, and it's like
Mhm.
pink. It's really cute. And they also have Remy
Mhm.
from Ratatouille, which is the little rat.
Yeah.
I don't know. The thought of rats in a kitchen just don't.
Yeah.
I love Ratatouille. It's one of
Yeah.
my favorite movies. But I'm sorry, the end of the movie where there's like 100 rats in the kitchen,
Yeah,
is
I'm not
just
eating
really
there. I'm
creeps
not
me
eating
out.
there.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
okay, so
Oh, and then they have a Simba annual pass magnet at Animal Kingdom.
Well,
so they have 3 magnets.
I'm
to
going
get.
to the opening day for the public because I only have a gold annual pass.
Yes.
But I'm going to the opening day of Galaxy's Edge when it opens for the public. That's on a Thursday. The Food and Wine Festival starts on Friday at EPCOT. I'm going to go to that. And I got to tell you, out of all of the festivals, I like the Food and Wine the best. I went to Food and Wine for the first time last year.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what I like about Food and Wine is there a lot of the festivals have food booths. Okay, the art festival has food booths.
Yeah, they do.
But what I found with Food and Wine is I thought, because we're talking a lot about prices, I thought the price per portion was much lower than the other festivals. I was very surprised at how much food I got for how
Yeah.
little at the Food and Wine Festival. The one thing, though, I'm going to do this year, and I don't know how you guys do EPCOT, but when I get to the World Showcase, I always, since I have been going to that park, I always go counterclockwise, start in Canada,
Yeah.
and work my way around.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to go against like my nature, and this time at the Food and Wine, I'm going to go clockwise, which is
Have
probably what
some-
most
have
people
some
do.
tacos or something
Well,
instead of the British food. Have some Mexican
Yeah.
food.
So what happens with me, because I always I always start in Canada, and the main reason I go that way is not because of Canada. I like to go to the pub in the UK and get a Guinness.
Right.
So the problem is, especially at Food and Wine, because I'm eating a little bit, and if you go and watch our vlog from Food and Wine last year, you'll get a little taste of this. I ate a lot of foods that I never would have ordered, like that Spam dish at the Hawaiian
Oh
booth,
yeah, you
which
never.
was very good.
Brian is a very picky eater.
But what typically
tell you.
happens to me when I go to a festival, first
Yeah.
thing I do, I'll get something to eat before I get to the UK. I'll get that Guinness, and then I'll go to France and I'll get some wine and something to eat with some nice wine. By the time I get
It's like
to
Italy.
Germany, well, maybe Italy or Germany,
Yeah.
usually Germany, I'm like, okay, I've eaten a lot.
Drank a lot.
I've had some alcohol, so I never really get to enjoy Norway, Mexico, or China because by that time I'm full and I'm a little okay. I don't want anything else to drink. So this year on Food and Wine, I'm going to start at Mexico. I'm going to go to clockwise, but you know what? They have food everywhere. Oh, by Test Track, they have
Well,
things too.
the
They don't
thing
normally
is,
have at
though,
Food and Wine.
Last year you went twice. So the thing is,
Oh,
if
did
you
I? I
can, if you go 3 or 4 times, you can really try a lot of different things. And they give you like a booklet and you can check it off. People who live there are so lucky because they could go every day if they wanted and order something new and go through. I would do that if I lived there. I'd go through the whole booklet and just try everything. But if you only get to go once, you really need to spend, I would say, 2 days at least.
Oh, it's a
for
2-day.
the Food and Wine.
It's
at
easily
least.
2 days because there's
Yeah.
There's food options throughout the entire park, not just in the World Showcase.
At
There's
Future World too.
Yeah, and they have so
And
many
different
booths.
drinks.
Oh yeah.
So this year they also have, which I definitely want. Last year they had the Mickey cutting board, and we did not. Did we get that, or what
You
happened?
had to go, was it 4 times to get the
Yeah, I
Mickey
think
cutting
it's 4
board? And I
times.
went 3 times, and I tried to go for the fourth, and I didn't get the cutting board. And I was really upset because I was at a character meet and greet not
Right.
too long ago, and there was this woman in line with me. She had the cutting board from the Food and Wine Festival that pass holders got with the 4 visits, and she was getting it autographed by all the characters. And
Oh,
I thought that was
cool.
I told her you could sell that for like $500 on eBay once you get all the
Maybe you
autographs. It
never
was a
know.
very rare find, but the
So why
cutting
didn't you
board
get
was
the
really
cutting
tight.
board?
I didn't go enough times. You had to go 3 times or 4
to-
times.
Okay, so this year
to
you
Food and
have to
Wine.
go 4 times, and you could
For the
just
cutting board?
no, they're giving wood coasters with have the Minnie
Ah.
Mouse, the Minnie Mouse, the chef.
You have to
Minnie.
go 4 times?
I want those.
4
yes.
days. That's be 4 days.
Right. So you could literally walk in the park, check in, and turn around and leave, right?
Yeah, but you got to come back another day. That
right.
counts
But
as
you
one
could,
day.
right. So I'm saying if you don't have to go experience Food and Wine 4 times, you just have to check into Epcot 4 times. So you could check if you
4
want to go
days. 4 days.
4 days, 4 times you go in, right? 4 separate days,
I
not
almost
4
made it.
times in
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah.
So you could say you are there and say you have the luxury of going to the Food and Wine 4 times, 4 days. You could say, all right, I've been here twice. I'm kind of over it, or I want to do something else. I'm just going to nip over to Epcot, swipe my Magic Band, and head over to Animal Kingdom. That counts, right?
Of course.
Okay, so on your 4th time, you have to get it this year, and I think it's a great idea. And I think what you should do, you're going to have 4 coasters. Get each one signed by a different person. So get one signed by or a character: Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, and maybe Donald Duck.
That's a
would be
great idea.
so cool. Take a
That's a great
Sharpie.
idea.
I think that's a great idea, and I think
Yeah.
that her getting that cutting board autographed was genius.
Oh, yeah. I never saw anyone. But if you're only going to go to one Epcot festival, I think Food and Wine is the best by far.
I agree. I do love the Festival of the Holidays, though. It's really cool to see all the different Santa Clauses walking around Epcot in all their beautiful costumes,
Yeah.
and they tell stories. Those are my 2 favorite Epcot festivals. And I'm an art person, okay? I was an art history major in college. I don't love the art festival. It's okay. The picture things are cool, but it's really kind of an art show, really, what you're going to see. The art is cool to look at, but it's
Yeah.
very expensive. It's cool to look at, but it's really kind of a glorified art show. That's just not my thing. But they do have, but every festival you go to, they have cool souvenirs. They have special merchandise just for pass holders, which we need to look at more. And they have different experiences that are not that expensive. I think some of the things are free. Like I think at the art festival, they had a thing where you can go and learn how to draw
Yeah.
certain characters. I'm not sure if they charge that. I don't think so. And there's all different things. So anyway, I'm looking forward to that. I have never been to the Food and Wine, so I definitely will go at least once this year just to see what it's like. I've been to the art one. I've been to Flower and Garden in the past, but I've never been to the Food and Wine, and I've been to the
Mhm.
festival. So I'm really excited about that because I think you're right. I think that's everybody's most favorite because
definitely.
of the food and the drinks, and they just really bring their game when it comes to that. So thanks for listening, guys. We really appreciate you listening to our podcast. Please follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We also have a Facebook group, Main Street Moments, and also please follow us on YouTube for our podcast, our vlogs. We thank you so much for your support, and we'll see you guys at the parks.